Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever YouTube video for my new channel, Tara Ferguson Home, where I share everything home inspo, DIY, interiors, decor, things that I'm loving at the moment. Today we are talking all about advent calendars. I don't know about you, but growing up I loved my chocolate advent calendar. And over the years I've noticed that advent calendars have really become a thing and they can cost a fortune. So I love to make mine for the kids. And what's really great about that is that you can put tons of different things inside the advent calendars as their special treats. Excuse me. I'm just getting over that classic fall cold, so apologies. So yeah, so on today's video, I'm gonna share with you how I created this really cute one-of-a-kind Christmas themed advent calendar. So as you can see behind me, we're sitting in my son's bedroom, my toddler's bedroom. And I really wanted to share this video because I've made this before for my now 8-year-old and I got a lot of compliments on it. So I thought this season I would do a video sharing how I created it so that if you felt inclined, you could do it too. Or if you're like, Tara, I don't have time to do all this crafting, I totally get it. Maybe you have a creative aunt or mom or friend who loves this stuff. You can just forward this video right onto them and ask them to create it in the next couple of weeks. See if they can do it. Anyways, like I said, we really love these advent calendars here. The kids love them. And part of the reason is because we can cater them to their interests at the time. For example, our 8-year-old is really into Pokemon, so that means this year there's probably gonna be Pokemon cards and little Legos and likely a special trip to see Santa at Legoland. Those are some of the things that are going in his advent calendar. And similarly for our toddler, he's really into Paw Patrol and little Hot Wheel cars. And so those are types of things that will be in his advent calendar, in addition to a special treat into town to see Santa. And also, you know, little candies and chocolates, whatever. But the whole idea of the advent calendar is that it doesn't always have to be sweets every day. You can mix it up and it doesn't even have to be tangible stuff. If you go on Pinterest, which I love, there are tons of ideas. You know, people do, let's make a gingerbread house together. Let's go see the lights together. So they don't even have to be physical things. You can put gift cards in and that sort of thing to really make each day leading up to Christmas really exciting and special. All right, so let's get into how we make this. And before I get started, I will say I did underestimate how long this is gonna take me. I did think it was gonna take a lot shorter than it did. So this took me around 15 to 20 hours to actually finish. And I think part of that is because I decided to theme the advent calendar with all types of Christmas things and cutting that out, etc. It took some time. But I just do want to put it out there that I didn't whip this up in an evening, you know, keeping it real for all those parents out there who, you know, need to, or individuals in general, where time is really important. This did take a couple evenings for sure. All right, so with that being said, let's get into this video. Okay, so step one, you need all your materials. I've listed them all here so you can take a screenshot and they're also listed down below. Next is, I started making a list of all the Christmas decals that I wanted to put on each stocking. This was really helpful, so I kind of got an idea of what I was making. But of course, you can make whatever you want and switch out things that maybe resonate more with things that your family do, etc. Step 3 was to cut out the stocking patterns. So I have done this before, and I knew that this time around I wanted to make sure that my stockings had an opening of at least 7 centimeters. And that's because when you sew around the edges, it does make it a little bit smaller. And like I mentioned before, to put special things in like little cars, Legos, even some Yodo cards, for example, you do need a fair amount of width to be able to get the stuff in. So you want to make sure that your stockings are wide enough to fit the items you want to put in your stocking. Step 4 is where you want to cut out all of your stockings. So in this case, you're just cutting out the pattern twice and then a little handle to be able to hook it on to the wooden dowel. Now, I also made a prototype just to get an idea of how everything was going to look on the stocking. Like I said, I have made this type of advent calendar before, but never with the Christmas theme decals and the wooden numbers on them. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was going to fit and the vision that I had in my head would actually look good in reality. And I was happy with it, so we soldiered on. Step 5, it's time to cut out all your Christmas decals. So this is the part that took the longest. And to be honest, I actually stopped cutting out the stockings halfway through and started cutting out some Christmas decals because I was bored. But you can really do this in any order you want. It just depends on what works best for you. Once everything was cut out, I laid it all out just to make sure I was happy with everything that I'd created and I liked the position of all of the decals on the stockings, etc. And I also added the numbers on as well, just to make sure that all the numbers would fit where I was planning on gluing my Christmas decals. Step 6 is where I glued on all the Christmas decals to the front of the stocking. Now again, you can sew all your stockings first, but I decided to glue my decals on and then sew my stockings together to ensure any little bits of felt were sewn down. So this lasts year over year. Step 7, as I mentioned previously, is where we sew all our stockings together. Now, I did think I was going to use the same color thread for each stocking. However, that would be way too time consuming, so I just decided to go with the standard white. But you can do whatever you want, whatever you have time for. Step 8, it's time to add glitter to all our wooden numbers and glue them on our stockings. Step 9 is exciting because you have done your sewing and your gluing, and it's time to cut your wooden dowels. So I got two, I think they're 2.4 meter wooden dowels, and I cut them pretty straightforward. Now, if you don't have a miter saw at home to cut these, then I believe the hardware store can cut these for you. I cut mine in 24-inch increments, but you can do whatever works best for you. Now, after cutting my wood, I actually drilled holes in each side so that the string could go through. You don't have to do this, but I chose to do this because I thought it would look better than wrapping it around, which is what I've done in the past. So if you have a drill and can drill holes in your wood, I would recommend it. But if you don't, not to worry, you can simply wrap your string around the dowel and it'll work just as well. All right, step 10, we're on the home stretch, and it's time to cut our string and bead it. So how I did this is I cut a long piece of string around 4 meters. I found the middle. I tied a knot in the top with a little loop to go over a nail. And then from there, I started beading each side with the same amount of beads. I think I did about 17 beads on each side. So after I had put 17 beads on each side, I put my wooden dowel on the one side. Actually, before that, I did tie a couple knots, put my wooden dowel on, and then tied some knots underneath that as well, just so it wouldn't shift, because in my experience, these do shift after for some reason. So it might be my string, or I don't know. So I did knots before I put on the dowel and then after, and then I slid on my stockings, and then I did the same thing on the other side. And I repeated that for each wooden dowel with a total of 5. And once that is done, It is exciting because you are done. You can now step back and admire this gorgeous, one-of-a-kind, Christmas-themed advent calendar. And that is it. That is your stocking all done. It's time to now figure out where you're going to hang it and start thinking about all the cute things you can put inside for your kiddos this Christmas. All right, there you go. So that is how you make a super cute, one-of-a-kind, Christmas-themed advent calendar. If you try it, definitely tag me and make sure you subscribe to the Tara Ferguson Home YouTube channel for more inspo on all things interiors, home decor, DIYs, and design. Have a great rest of the week and weekend, and I'll see you in our next video. Cheers!